Hey everyone, welcome back to Slow News Day Live. My name is Steve Poikinen. Y'all know where I'm at. I am joined once again by my fantastic and better than your co-host Glory Jones. What's happening, Glory? How you doing?
Recuperated
Right? Yeah, no, that was
from all the emotions this morning.
heavy fucking
This
stream.
morning bleeding on to the afternoon. So
I've never I'm floored and honored to be asked to give a dying man his last interview. I was fucking heavy. It was. And to have it be with such a I don't know, profoundly I just legendary character like Commander X, man. Serious shit. It was. And this is gonna be serious too. I think maybe I'm not entirely sure. I am joined by my good friend Jason Bermas. Because this is going to be a brief but detailed continued unpacking of the events that happened on Wednesday the 6th in Washington D.C. And the reason that Jason is here, of course, is because he was there with me. We were both on the ground in a journalistic capacity, recording these events as we saw them for whatever fucking use they may be. Jason, how are you, my friend? It's good to see you again.
I'm good, man. So I don't know if you checked it out, but I stayed an extra day in DC. I never like to just get up and leave these things right after, especially if I've made some contacts or maybe I just need some rest, because you never know how much you're going to be marching around, how much your footsies are going to hurt and all that stuff. But I was thinking about staying another day or maybe going to New York, all that stuff. I wake up and remember my hotel was right outside of DC, but jam packed, right? I remember I was telling you that I had gotten up at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm not sure, did I beat you down to the main rally or not? I know we
Yeah, you did. You were ahead of me by like an hour and a half.
That's right. That's right. You guys ended up getting holed up in parking also. I mean, it was that much of a mob show. When I woke up there, a jam-packed parking lot had been like almost half unfull by 6:30 in the morning. So that's when I really hauled in. When I left, Steve, I wake up and I took my time. I didn't have to check out till 11. I caught the last orange juice on the way out, like at 9:56, the whole nine. I walk outside, dude, and the car next to me, 1980s Brooklyn Bronx style, is on plastic crates with all four wheels stripped and the window knocked out next to it. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Is this what we're coming to? Like, people don't get it unless they've lived through it and they've seen it. But crime is up, people. Crime is really up. This is not a phenomenon that's just in one spot. This is in the cities of America right now. And that is because your average person who was destitute before is even more destitute now and knows that law enforcement is under severe limitations, hence what I saw. I swear, I had a flashback to being a kid and literally being on the way to the city and watching that happen in real time, because you used to see that when you were like 8 or 9 years old in the 80s, man. I used to see that quite a bit. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of wild. After I saw that, I said, you know what? I'm going home. I drove back. I got back, believe it or not, in a 13-hour straight stint. And I was so hyped up to share what I had not already shared and talk to somebody, because the aftermath was so crazy, from Trump possibly being impeached, to the amount of people that were suspended off of Twitter, to the domestic terrorism talks, to the bills already being ready, to the insurrection talks, to snitch on your neighbors and give these people up, to Parler's not going to have a place on the App Store, and now it's not going to have a place in iOS, and now we're going to take it off of servers from Amazon. I mean, things have gone in extremely rapid succession, And to label a large swath of people, whether you agree with them politically or not, Steve, as terrorists is no bueno. And
it's dumb. It's dumb.
very bad. It's dangerous. And I've been very, very adamant for people that that are buddies of mine that are on the right that have wanted to call Antifa fascists or vocal about when an InfoWars wants to call them, or I'm sorry, not fascist, terrorists, or calls them a terrorist organization, or when they tell you that people that are ripping down statues are terrorists. I'm like, no, they're American citizens and there are laws, and we can charge them with those laws like destruction of property. And I feel like if you want to give these people trespass, I think that many of them, in fact, the large majority of them in trespass, should have the lightest wrist tap possible of trespass in reality when you watch some of these videos, and others that destroyed things should be treated accordingly, period. I don't know what else to say. I didn't get there during the initial chaos. I sure got up close and personal for the secondary chaos, from the sledgehammers to the bear mace. I got a front row seat for it, but that was few and far between against literally tens of thousands of people that we were around. You want to label us domestic terrorists, and I say us because, number one, I don't identify with any of these people. I'm not the Proud Boys. I'm not conservative Jason. I'm not liberal Jason. I'm Jason. My name's Jason. How are you? But people were telling me, well, it's pretty obvious where you stand, Jason. Or,
oh, me too.
It's wild. And I just have this to say. During the, not even the height, but like the height of ramping up the fear in the war on terror, with the color codes and everyone needed to be vigilant and stay vigilant, the big thing was, if you see something, you say something. And the one thing they always talked about was unattended bags and backpacks all over the place. They used to ramp this fear up pre body scanners in airports constantly, and
still do in the airport.
Exactly, in the airport. I have never seen in my life ever more unattended bags in an area that were not checked by police officers, that did not have police officers, that literally had tens of thousands of people everywhere, and stacks of these backpacks for possibly a couple square miles.
Yeah. Yeah, there were two massive piles of them right by where we were standing for that first part of the morning. We were standing right in front of one.
Of at least 200 bags, what I mean? And then each light pole successively to the urinals also was basically a tent-like structure that was not hollow, full of backpacks that had not been checked. All right. Steve, especially in retrospect, I think that you would be in agreement with me. I never saw any National Guard there. No. The only police officers that I saw at the entire thing were the people that were wanding and checking people at that tent, and then at the checkpoints where it had been fenced in and where people were like going over to throw garbage out, right?
Yeah, and then there were a couple of cops that were stationed on the inside of the fence, like all the way around the perimeter. It wasn't until we got over by the Capitol that I saw a police presence, and we got over to the Capitol after the initial, what's the word, breach?
And let me say this.
Storm the Capitol!
I mean, I guess we'll get into the breach and everything that goes along with it. But for people to put that in perspective, the media really didn't show you how many people were there. No. All right. If you saw on the other side of the tent how many people were inside with Trump, you're probably talking about 50, 60, maybe 70,000 people. I don't know. I doubt 100,000 could fit in there. But there was way more people on the other side with literally the smallest amount of police I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen that many people in any regard, okay, in any regard in that mass with either that little police or, like, let's say I was at Woodstock 99 security. How about that? And we all know how Woodstock 99 turned out, folks. You know what I'm saying? However, this was nothing like that. There was never a moment, Steve, and I think that you'd probably agree with me, during that speech or in that area where I felt threatened in any way, shape, or form. Now, when I get up to the Capitol, I guess I'll tell my story from there. It's during the Trump speech that you start seeing people filing out, right? And, you know, people were coming up to me and I was talking with different people and taking pictures and, you know, still trying to cover what was going on. But I'm seeing these people file out and Trump isn't done yet. It's only after Trump's done that I was with Dylan. And so me and Dylan decided that we were going to start walking up. He was either, I was thinking about maybe I wanted to dump some of this footage or some of the interviews that I'd done and all that stuff. But Dylan gets something on his cell phone as we're walking up towards where I parked, which is what was that, like 17th and H? Yeah, 17th and H was the hot spot.
Was it the secret, like the spot? It's 18th, but yeah.
But right around that corner. So what I'm noticing is as we're walking up, it's still kind of scattered, but Dylan all of a sudden gets a text saying somebody's been shot and he's getting stuff that they've stormed the Capitol. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm going to follow this line of people and I'm going to see what's going on. I guess I'm not going to stop off. I stopped off at my car. I dropped something off and then I just went going. So that's what Pat Miletich calls me. And he says he's there for the initial storming of it and watches it as it happens and watches them breach the gates and get onto the lawn. Now, this is before the actual Capitol building is fully taken over, or as far as he knows, anybody's in it, because he goes, dude, I think they're going to get inside. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm on my way, Pat. Let's go. So I'm marching on one street, and then parallel, I'm watching a much bigger march on the other street. And as this is happening, I'm realizing it's filling up on both ends and it's converging. You know what I mean? I'm stopping. I'm able to take some stuff. Now, it's also at this point that I take the opportunity to live stream for the first time because everything's been jammed up. I said, let's roll the dice. It's not that congested on this street. And I got about 6.5 minutes off on both what I'm talking about where it converges. And then at that convergence point when I'm probably about 3 blocks away from the actual Capitol. All right. So then it basically, it's just kind of like a lowbrow rock concert to me. You know, first of all, people are way more rude when you're going to see Korn or Slipknot and you're trying to get up close. You know, you can't say, excuse me. You can't weasel up. So I was just, you know, picking and choosing my moments. You can go watch my video footage from when I get up to the Capitol to the point when I breach where the grass is and then the first level. It's on that first level that I catch somebody trying to cut cords, literally in under floorboards with bolt cutters of some sorts. You know, people obviously have backpacks. I get up on the second level. Now, at that time, before the second level was really like popular and people were getting up on it, the bleachers are empty at this time. There's not that many. If those that have breached up on that end, and remember, everything that you've seen in the media has already apparently happened inside. From the girl's death.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a text from Mom, someone got shot. Are you okay? I'm like, Mom, I'm going to be fine. Everything's okay. You know, I usually know where to push the boundaries and where not to. I saw basically in that middle section when I got up to the second level after people had breached that and the cops had went all the way up to the top level. And then there's really no physicality with those cops. The physicality comes from the middle second level where they're trying to push through, where they have a barricade of police there. And they finally do breach the area by using a doorbuster to get through the window to the left. And I captured all of that on video. That's about an hour and a half of footage, you know, from the time that I get over on that lower end of the Capitol to the time that window's busted out and everybody in the bleachers is full. Now, to me, being amongst that group, if tens of thousands of people really wanted to be violent and really wanted to go into that building and, you know, put people on gallows, they absolutely 100% could have and would have had zero resistance. If those people were sheltering in place, in anywhere but an underground bunker that somehow the mob wouldn't have had access to, they would have been done if they were indeed a mob. They were not a mob. They were a large, massive group of people, in my opinion, that no longer believe that their vote counts. Many of them were not under this same realization even 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
You couple that with what is happening to their businesses, their livelihoods on a daily basis, the frustration of maybe not being able to see their loved ones, of having to wear a mask, of being told what to do constantly, of now not believing their vote counts. And you would think everything was on the table. I would say under those conditions, the vast majority of these people were extremely restrained. And I think that that's really seen when you see that sledgehammer get passed up, and I start making the comment, you'll catch a fucking attempted murder charge. You swing that thing once, and the people up front were smart enough to hand it to the police. And you hear some of the agitators go, oh, and what are you doing? And the other people are like, we're not here to kill people. That's not what we came here for. So again, in a lot of ways, Steve, this plays right into what we were discussing pre-election with Whitney Webb. A lot of people scoffed at us.
100%.
Yeah.
This is it. This is domestic right-wing terrorists who, created an insurrection in which there was no actual hostile takeover of the government.
And
not only like the actual color revolution, but also the response following it. Like, I told you so, like we told you so. There's that there, because Whitney Webb is always right. And to see people just straight up excusing all the censorship because, oh yeah, the Nazis are getting censored. It's so dumb. And they're gifting the security state. I'm saying that they're just gifting the security state, and it's so dangerous.
Okay, so real quick, Jay, right before we went on, I got a phone call from my buddy George, and he's like, okay, man, I've got like 3 sentences for you, and I'll send you some links. And he goes, the Insurrection Act was signed last night, and General Flynn is going to be the vice president, and the Pope's getting arrested. I'm like, all right, well, I'll take links for that. Check it out. Is this shit you're hearing too, or you?
So if you haven't noticed, I decided that I was going to do the broadcast today with everybody with my lovely thumbnail here: impeachment, insurrection, and the end of everything. And this is because the Q-LARP has finally been fully exposed for everything I have been saying it has been since the very inception, and some people just refuse to let it go and let it die and understand that no, there aren't heroes coming to save you. Yeah, we live in a movie, Steve, but it's not the Hollywood beat 'em up blockbuster good one where at the very end, at the darkest moment, Bruce Willis comes and kicks the fucking door through with Keanu Reeves, pisses on the bad guy's face, and America is great again. No, it's from the Criterion Collection. And I'll leave it at that. So the bottom line is Jonesy, Alex Jones, and to his credit, man, I watched the video of Alex Jones at this thing before the Capitol is breached. And he is telling people that they have a permit and to go around to the back where they have the permit where they can peacefully assemble and discourage people from storming the Capitol. That is to his credit. On top of that, he had the Cumonic shaman himself, Mr. Buffalo, on. Mm-hmm. And Alex Jones on Friday sounded a whole lot like Jason Bermas has sounded the last 2 years about Q. From saying things like Bill Barr's not coming to save you. It was wrong the entire time. It led everybody down the wrong path. This is all hope. You name it. He said it. And it's about damn time. Now, he has to, in my opinion, again, he has to do a mea culpa and say, look, I did push this. I did say that I
for a minute, too.
What?
For a hot minute, too.
Listen, Just listen, Alex, that's all I'm saying. Have your come to God moment and said, I was wrong about this. And we're paying the price for it. That's all. You know, I did a broadcast, Steve, the first couple days into 2021, what I got wrong in 2020, what I got wrong, you know, because there's no way I'm gonna roll double sixes every time. You know what I'm saying? It's not AC doocy every time. I'm gonna get it wrong. But again, this Q thing has been poisoned from the beginning because it causes inaction, it causes hopium, it causes me every 3 to 4 months, including within this last week, to get a dozen text messages from friends and family. They unlocked the WikiLeaks. Are these real?
Oh my God.
Like all week again, people sending me the stuff.
On Tuesday, these people were saying that Julian was granted bail when his bail hearing was set for the next day. And people actually buy that shit. Like, do you realize how destructive those rumors are?
Listen, at the rally, Glory, people were saying Julian was okay somewhere.
Yes. They do that shit in LA too. I tried talking to them where it's like, oh no, it'll be fine. Just wait till Julian gets to the US. It'll be great. Like, excuse me? No, look, come here. We're gonna have a conversation.
What'd you girls just do?
Oh no.
What was that?
I know the words to that song. I do. I know all the words to that song.
It's been a fun day of Mario Kart, and they're playing Fortnite, and you know, whatever.
I love Mario Kart.
Hey, Jason, have you ever been on the ground in real time for a fucking psyop before?
Like that? Sure. Yeah, you know what?
Of that magnitude?
No, I mean nobody has. That's a new one. That's a new ball game. Like in America, if you want to count just bodies on the ground, non-violence psyop in this country, totally brand new. You know, you literally utilized the numbers and passion for the civil rights movement, right? And I would say you haven't seen masses like that in DC since the real civil rights movement, or some, you know, incarnated perceived event. Like you could say, well, Obama's inauguration had a lot of people at it, sure, but that was people.
Or the Women's March.
Well, again, those are perceived under mainstream media narratives that have facilitated those marches and those movements, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Corporate
Not here.
sponsors for the Women March.
Yeah, not here. You know, it's not like it was never patriots are arriving or the people have had enough and we'll see them. It was literally the closer you got to DC, stay in your house, don't give them the satisfaction, and do not acknowledge the bad people, the rioters, the supremacists. And you know, Steve, it's so bonkers and upside down to me because as soon as I start live streaming the day before the big event, I don't think I've seen so much love so quick from people literally coming up to me, from New York City firefighters to veterans to people that just enjoyed the show and said, keep it up, Jason. And if people can't understand that and why I might gravitate towards that, as opposed to what we saw 3 weeks ago. Listen, man, 3 weeks ago, the day before the big event, I saw a bunch of cops getting in frog uniforms, all right, before dusk. That wasn't anything I saw in DC. Like that's the other thing people have to understand. You know, whatever happened, they let it happen to a certain extent, and they know they did. They know they did.
When have I talked to you since I flew back?
No, we've texted back a little back and forth.
When I was on the flight from Reagan Airport to LAX, it was predominantly Trump supporters, and nearly to a person, Jason, every single one of them said we were used as set dressing. Fuck Donald Trump, fuck Mike Pence, fuck the GOP. Just fuck it all. They were angry, they were confused, they were hurt, like they got played and they were figuring it out. And where do you think that energy is gonna go now that it really looks like Kamala Harris gets to make Dick Cheney look like a fucking Girl Scout.
A Girl Scout. Look, who knows what who her right hand man or woman's gonna be? Like that.
The entire state of Israel would be my first guess.
I would.
You don't make Obama look like a Disney princess. Oh my God, I'm not.
I'm
not ready to deal with her.
I got a Cory Booker feeling, and I mean, I called it during the primaries. There would not be a more sociopathic, evil, destructive couple of people as front men for this predator class than Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. I mean, they're almost like some kind of super sociopathic being that geopolitics has never seen. I mean, I really do believe that. Like, they would be absolutely terrible. Steve, I am extremely worried. You know, you look at Rockfin as an alternative platform. Well, that's great. But what happens when they actually get an app and have it banned? You know, you may not agree with Parler, but look what just happened. There's no doubt that we no longer live under anything more than a technopoly. Those are not monopolies. Okay. It's not, a technocracy that just putting C on the end of it, even if you want to see bureaucracy, it gives the hint that there's some kind of choice being made by we the people. There isn't. This is a technopoly. Right. That is what this is. It is in your face. So, number one, these magic devices right here, okay, we now need to have our own operating system on old devices. And when I say that, I mean in mass, so that there can be an app store for grandma where it's easy. Not, oh, well, bro, you can just jailbreak your iPhone, or you could just, what do I do? I've done it on the Androids a bunch where you can, yeah, exactly. You can put Linux on those. No, I'm talking about a mainline, somebody service where grandma brings her phone in and then it's flashed to a totally different operating system. That way we don't have to build technology. We utilize all the iPhone 10s, 9s, 7s, 6s for the people that like that. And we have to do this open source. And that app store does have to be truly free, and it has to be almost indistinguishable, and it has to work with other things. It's the only way, because look, Rockfin builds as a platform, and right now Ray is exploding with the rest of cryptocurrency. Hit another all-time high today of $4.69.
Yeah, it did.
I don't think that's going to end, but then if it's Parler style where they can just take down your servers, or you can't use this processing service, or you can't have an app on the two app stores that exist in their own little monopoly there. That's not free speech. They keep talking about free market and free speech and someone else can come along. That was never the plan. And they're not breaking up big tech, because big tech is the NSA. I keep saying it, I keep preaching it, and I keep letting everybody know that Jack Dorsey, Jeff Bezos, Eric Schmidt, these guys are no different than anybody that sits on the National Security Council or sits in the halls of the Central Intelligence Agency at higher levels. That's what they are, okay? They are assets to this intelligence-run oligarchy on behalf of a predator class, Steve.
I've been trying to explain to people for quite a while now that if you live in the West, you don't have governments that run intelligence agencies. You have intelligence agencies that run governments. And they're the muscle for a homegrown oligarchy. And the sooner you wrap your fucking head around that, the sooner you can stop worrying about things like, well, is a corrupt Congress going to vote for Medicare for all? And you can start organizing for actual enduring, lasting change. Jason, I don't know if you actually had a hard out in 30 minutes.
I do have to run. He should be here any minute. And again, I wasn't quite sure when this was going to happen, but I do have to go. Guys, hopefully we'll catch up. I'm going to end up probably posting this on my Rockfin tomorrow. So Steve, Glory, keep it up. And hopefully I'll see you sometime later this week.
Absolutely, man. Great to see you again.
All right, later on, guys.
Oh, he faded out.
Like a goddamn Back to the Future picture. We might as well turn this into a quick like AMA too, because I'd still like to sort of run through some of the shit that happened and the aftermath of it too. And I would love to get your thoughts, Glory, about what the fuck people think they can accomplish by impeaching Donald Trump, other than to stop or discredit any additional pardons that he may try to make.
Yeah, it like boils down, from what I've observed, it boils down to two reasons, and that's one, which is just purely symbolic, and then the second is the fact that if you impeach him, he won't be able to run again in 2024. Like, yeah, like that's a real serious legitimate reason. And it's just, but I mean, it's just dumb too, because what they're trying to do by expel members of Congress and impeach the president for, inciting violence is, it establishes an incredibly dangerous precedent, because then it just means like, okay, so what can happen when any other politician tries to mobilize their base or tries to organize their base? Like Kashama Sawant in Seattle, if Trump gets impeached, then the precedent established by that will screw her over, because she's in Seattle City Council and she organizes and mobilizes people from that position. So, and like she's a leftist. So if shit like that happens, then people are going to be screwed. And it's like, so now politicians in Congress can't be organizers. And it's all so very dumb and so very insufferable, really, to see people who should know better just end up ramming themselves into the partisan wall of bullfuckery.
I mean, I broadly agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. I want to kind of, I don't know, sort of introduce, and then later on in the week, maybe we can do this with John Fitch. Talk about the upcoming, I guess, Patriot Act 2.
Yeah.
It is how it's being branded. Let's see.
They can't get any more in your face about it.
Where is it? Are they having an? Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, they're already pushing a need for a specific law against domestic terrorism. Sorry, I'm taking this in like right now, because I haven't had any fucking time at all since I just none, dude, and it's been hectic.
Yes,
it's been hectic.
We know.
But
everybody, Steve's very busy. Send him your love.
Occasionally remind me to eat.
Yep. Remind him to eat. Slide into his DMs. Tell him to eat and that you love him.
You don't have to listen to everything Glory says. You don't. You really don't. I want to try and pull this up though, dude, because there's a white paper that was published last September out of the program on extremism from George Washington University, and it's titled "The Need for a Specific Law Against Domestic Terrorism." So again, I mean, right, this is happening while those DHS memos are circulating, saying that there's going to be specifically a right-wing domestic terror event. We're really heading towards some acceleration in terms of I guess, a Biden Harris presidency. It's a growing problem of domestic terrorism. Yeah, so she's arguing that not enough time and resources have been dedicated to studying domestic terrorism, which, okay, maybe I would agree with if she was talking about, the police.
Yeah,
But
the FBI, the DHS, the police, like.
She's criticizing the language in the Patriot Act, saying it's both over and under inclusive. Now she's arguing against the ACLU. Yeah, we're gonna come back to this at a later date, because that whole 28-page document looks like it bears some further study. Well, my internet just crapped out.
Nice.
Yay. The fuck.
What's going on?
Do we have any questions in the chat? If you have any questions, throw them. I'd be happy to try and field them.
Alrighty. Let's see if they have any questions. Don't want to get yelled at for dead air.
How much time do we have before the vaccine passport? I would be surprised if we don't see that roll out in the next 6 months. I would be.
Yeah.
Ryan Kanya, thank you for the super chat. Boxcar loads from both sides. Stop cheering for authoritarianism. Fuck yeah, dude. This sentiment that somehow less speech, less freedom of movement, no freedom of assembly, that somehow you can get anything other than a resentful populace out of that is fucking beyond me. I don't understand it. I mean, I generally recoil from authoritarianism, period, authority itself frequently. Not my thing as a libertarian minded individual. But fuck, man. There's so much. This is what drives me fucking nuts about the independent media, and specifically those that come out of like the Young Turks sphere of it, because they so adamantly deny that their mainstream media on the internet for a brand new generation of gullible fucking idiots. And yet every time there is a huge fucking conspiracy theory or psychological operation or fucking false flag bullshit like the fucking bombing in Duma, they not just run with the mainstream narrative, but they trip over themselves to shame anyone else in the independent media sphere who is speaking out against the narrative.
Yep.
And it fucking kills me to see people with like genuinely large and bigger platforms fucking parrot national security fucking talking points for clicks and likes and to keep their shit on a channel or on a platform, in YouTube, that is a fucking Alphabet subsidiary. Like, you're taking the deep state dick all the way down your throat for what? For what? Access to fucking no chance in hell you're getting elected politicians?
So their footage can end up on CNN and they can brag about it. so they can appease their little fucking scared ass followers who want nothing more than to feel comfortable with themselves.
So let me get this straight, man. You're indie media, but at every critical juncture, you're repeating the mainstream narrative. You modeled your entire fucking media sphere to look exactly like mainstream media, and your most successful pundits and journalists are successful based on the access that they're granted for softball or barely pushing interviews with celebrities and celebrity politicians. What the fuck is independent about that? Anyone?
Nothing.
Can anyone fucking tell me?
Don't fucking ask me, Steve. You know how I feel about these douche cunts. Like, these people who want nothing more than to just stay comfortable and stay exactly where they are. The only reason they'll move is if they want more money. So, you know, it's absolutely disgusting. And they'll trample on any other voices in independent media to get there. Because, and even those who do have good reporting, they're so blinded by fucking partisanship and team sports that they can't actually see what the fuck they're doing. They can't recognize that they're fucking gifting the security state with their shite analysis. Like, ugh.
Glory, do you want to field Mona's super chat? Mona, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, you know what? Real quick, Oz wanted an update on the evictions. So, on that topic, one of the main accounts, Twitter accounts, which updates people on evictions and eviction protests in LA, People's City Council, they had their account fucking suspended. So, you know, a lot, you know, they must have like 40 or 50K followers on Twitter, and people depend on them for legitimate news on what's happening and where to go for eviction defense or where to go to stop sweeps. But, you know, now people are down one less source because of big tech censorship, which people want to cheer on like fucking idiots because, oh, they finally got Trump this time. No, fuck you. Stop cheering that shit on because you know that that shit always comes back to hurt us. So don't act fucking surprised when People's City Council LA gets suspended because yo asses was shooting yourself in the dick with that. Okay, Mona. Hi, Mona. Question. Thank you, first of all, for the $10 super chat. What do Steve, Glory, and our guy J-Tech think about Biden's dog inauguration? These are the kind of hard-hitting stories that people really want. Come on, guys.
I hope Biden's dog trips him again, and fucking when he goes down, he shatters both hips, and he's got to spend the last remaining couple of months of his presidency wheelchair bound, just so that they can fucking like run out of ink comparing him to FDR, not because he's done anything other than get put in a wheelchair. That's my entire thought about the inauguration. I also, I guess I hope that the dog knocks a podium into the press pool and like takes out Acosta, at the very least.
Yeah, I'll
Breaks a collarbone or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh?
I got nothing.
I
Sleepy
mean, what kind of dog is it again? Because if it's like a big dog, then, you know, you can just like go full speed and just fucking barrel into Kamala Harris. I'd appreciate that.
I just hope the dog pisses in his shoes every morning.
Right. Fucking waits till he falls asleep and fucking dry humps his hair plugs. Come at me, Joe Biden.
It's so wrong.
You fucking come at me, Joe Biden. Yes. You know what? Kamala Harris, come at me.
Dude, I mean, really, I I don't know, dude. Let's go into Kamala Harris for a moment because my mom called in between shows and she was like, well, what do you like what do you think about Joe Biden? And I'm like, I don't think he's going to be president. I don't know what you want me to say, man. There's instant grits in the dude's head where like brain should be. He's not there. He's not like if they keep him alive for 2 years, it's only going to be because they've shot him so full of fucking chemicals that it looks like he's ambulatory. Like we could have hologram Biden for the last 8 months. I don't fucking know, but I do know.
You could have Klaus Schwab, transhumanist Biden.
Right? Hologram Biden, but it's really just the Klaus Schwab's fucking script. It could happen, but the point being, what I explained to my mother is that like, yo, dude, Kamala Harris is effectively going to be the president, and she's going to make Dick Cheney look fucking benevolent. He'll like basically be goddamn Mandela by comparison because she's fucking. She's not even like she's not even crazy. She's just an empty fucking vessel for power to point in a direction. Like there's nothing fucking there. Whatever semblance of a soul this woman had, she traded for straight A's in elementary school.
Yeah,
Rob Juno, thank you, brother. Much love. Where'd that go? Could you give us a snapshot of what you expect to see in 5 or 10 years? Holy shit.
I don't want to think about life in 5 or 10 years.
Hold up. I can do this. I can do this by way of background.
No, I'm already kind of there because like my background is like, destroyed Marley from Attack on Titan. So, death and destruction and giant man-eating creatures trying to destroy us all. So, yeah, it's kind of.
Whoa. That is.
Yeah. Steve's background kind of puts it into more perspective, but mine is like the anime version of that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I fucking told y'all Attack on Titan would go trending. What did I tell you? I fucking told y'all Willie Tyburn's declaration of war was just too OP, and now Aaron and Reiner are trending on Twitter because I told you. And the next episode is going to trend on Twitter too because we got the Warhammer Titan fight.
North American Ape, thank you for the super chat. Has anyone else run into folks who still use their private corporations to point to excuse censorship as if big tech isn't just an extension of the security state? That happened to me like an hour ago.
Yes.
An hour ago.
Yes.
And that was my rebuttal, North American Ape. I was like, yes, I would agree with that. If there was a shred of daylight between social media giants, big tech in general, and the national security state, but there's not.
Yes.
There's not. Whatever fuck you Twitter may have had towards the national security state 8 years ago is gone, long gone, and it's not coming back. Jason's right, Whitney's right, we're right. This is intro to technocratic panopticon.
Yeah,
this is what we're looking.
Vanessa Bailey's done great articles as well, breaking down
Shout out to Vanessa Bailey.
Okay. All right. Vanessa, slide in my man Steve's DMs. You know
Fucking
what's up,
hilarious,
Vanessa. Come on. But yeah, Vanessa Violi's done a really good article exposing Jack Dorsey and his ties to the Great Reset. So when all these things are interconnected.
Oh, that is a fantastic fucking article too. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Y'all should read it. And like when you consider that how everything is interconnected between the national security state, between Western oligarchs, then it doesn't become a question, an argument of, oh, it's just a private corporation. They're like separate from the rest of society. It's like, no, they're not. They're tied with all the fucks that are gonna want to stamp on us with their boot in the next fucking like second tier. Like, so that argument doesn't fly, and it's so fucking juvenile because it completely ignores all like just not only the history of censorship on Twitter, but just like all of the connections that the ownership of Twitter has with the national security state, with global oligarchs and the global predator class. So it's such a juvenile fucking argument, and it's being passed around a lot, and it's annoying. So progressives, fucking stop that shit, please. And Vanessa, slide in Steve's DMs.
That's fucking hilarious. You want to kind of circle back to Rob's thing though for a moment, because there's a couple of different ways that the next 5 or 10 years can go, and it really depends, in my opinion, on the next couple of months. And we're going to have to, all of us, we're going to have to go way out of our way to share information with people that we don't know, with people that we may not agree with on everything, and we need to get a few things fundamentally correct. And one of them has got to be, we're not going to submit to a technopoly. We're going to resist that. We're going to resist that first, and then we'll figure out what kind of system we would like to organize. But first, we're going to resist and, if possible, defeat the oncoming dystopia. And if we can't do that, then collectively we need to make a decision to accelerate its self-destruction. I don't know. Okay, I do. This is what I know. I know we've never been given accurate climate data. How do I know that? Because no climate data that's ever been put forth has ever incorporated geoengineering. None of it will incorporate fracking. There are a ton of things that are eliminated from climate reporting. So I can't say with any certainty how much, time we have left, or what we can do to slow the ongoing poisoning of our environment by people who would pollute the fuck out of it, or dump toxic chemicals into groundwater, or but rivers, shit like that. You can't constantly poison the air, the water supply, and the ground and expect everything to work out. You can't. But in the upcoming 5 to 10 years, I would recommend trying to learn how to garden food for your family and like the neighboring 10 families indoors if possible. That's what we got put onto. I'm going to follow up with that guy. I do think while you can, you should absolutely grow food outdoors. Absolutely. 100%. I think that everyone is going to have, I mean, X talked about this too, man. Like once you fight a war with nuclear weapons, the next wars get fought with sticks. And I think that the last 70 years of the West in general, I think that culturally we've done so much to make people forget about how to live sustainably that in the next couple of years it should be incumbent on all free thinking people to learn how to live sustainably and put that into practice as soon as humanly fucking possible. You should also probably try and figure out how to grow psilocybin mushrooms indoors.
Yeah.
Glory, any thoughts?
I mean, that's good advice, all of it. Shit, I don't fucking know. Like, listen, some days I'm like, you know what? This world is fucking doomed. Other days I'm like, other days I have like a glimmer of positivity. Other days I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my thing. And then, yeah, just in the meantime, just like Steve said, do what you can. And if anything, do what you can to not only secure sustainable living for yourself and people around you, but also just to raise fucking hell, because because who knows how much longer we'll be able to do that. So, or how much longer we'll even have the patience or the resources to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Or the internet to do that. Like it,
Yeah.
in every single one of these how to turn the West into a post-pandemic police state scenarios, there's a point where the internet gets cut off.
Yeah.
And the DHS memos warning against far-right domestic terrorists, there's a scenario where the internet gets cut off. So I mean, Josh, do you know if you can like mesh network around that shit?
I mean, you need to have
With
a
VPN?
you can, but you have to have a point that's connected into the network.
A node, right?
Yeah, we went over this with Sean a little bit. I mean, it's possible,
Yeah.
but
It's been about a year though.
yeah, but it's definitely possible. But I think we need to look more at having systems where just we can talk within communities at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're at least not cut off from the rest of us, like in our local communities. So, but yeah, but if they cut that pipe, if you do a mesh network connected to it, I mean, you're fucked anyway. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we need to figure out some other methods of communicating with each other.
I would put a call out for like ham radio operators. If you don't,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a way to do that. Like you've got to be able to build pirate antennas and be able to broadcast to at least your community with them.
I mean, you can set up a packet radio like BBS, like it is back in the old school days, and dial like before dial-up internet days when we were just on nodes with like 4 lines and shit. And that same software can be ran over fucking packet radio. Now I know people that do it. So I mean, there are ways that we'll be able to communicate, but it ain't gonna be flashy. It ain't gonna be these fucking massive web pages that take forever to download and shit. It's gonna be like bare bones text only shit. But I mean, it's an option for communication.
I mean, that's we need to start encouraging that. We need to start teaching people how to do that. And if you've got,
it's extremely easy to get a license now for ham radio. Except for some of the higher up license classes, you don't need Morse code anymore. So it's incredibly easy to pass these fucking tests. So I'd encourage anyone that can fucking pass the test. I think it's the AARL that has a lot of information on that. Yeah, it's aarl.org. So You can get information on training and where you can take the test and all that shit from there. But yeah, the more of us that get radio licenses, the better, because that's I see that being something we're gonna have to do in the next decade.
I have to pull a Discord invite and throw it in the Rockfin. I'm sorry for sleeping on this Rockfin chat a little bit too. I'm scrolling back up and looking for questions. Why won't Jimmy have me on his show? I would ask Jimmy. Because at this point I don't fucking know. I honestly don't. I feel like I'm an approachable, relatively friendly human being with
lovely gentleman. Alrighty. Rockfin chat.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Should we Red Sea Socialist? You have one what?
Oh, wait a second. No.
License,
I see what you're fucking doing, Red Sea, and I'm not buying that shit.
What? I missed it.
Saying I have a question to fucking
No, she's saying she has an online license for radio.
Okay.
She's not. I don't think she's fucking with you, but she could be.
Yeah,
by all means, y'all fuck with Glory. She enjoys that.
She trolls the shit out of you, so.
Fair enough.
Glory would love to read your manifesto. I just want everyone to know that. If you've got a manifesto, Glory would love to read that shit. The longer the better. As small type as possible. Fuck spell check. Just, stream of consciousness that shit to her.
Hit me up, y'all. I'll read that shit aloud too.
We need
Gamer, I hope you're doing well.
We need the Red Sea manifesto.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You work on that manifesto, Red Sea. You do that. You do that.
Why, yes, I am youthful, Miss Tree. Send your manifestos.
Slide into Glory's DMs with your manifesto. You heard it here live.
Why is the sky blue and the government corrupt? Aren't those the questions of our times? That would require a lot of words, because there's science behind why the sky is blue that has to do with the atmosphere and this stuff, but I just forget it.
It's the reflection of the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's something involved with the atmosphere as well that I keep forgetting. And then why is the government corrupt? System.
Because centralized structures only reward corruption and breed more corruption.
And
so the larger your centralized structure and the more offices that are branched out from it, the more potential you have for corruption, the more the sociopathic and corrupt are rewarded, and it just breeds more bullshit.
Fucking Nazi collaborator.
Why we need decentralized structures all across this here planet.
Yep. Oh, any places we could run away to escape the technocracy? Whew, that's a loaded question.
Right.
I mean, personally, I opt for an island, but that's just because, like, on the basic surface level, I'd like an island. I like to be by the ocean and, just around that landscape. Granted, there is a lot of the Caribbean that is subject to Western imperialism, so it'd be hard to escape that influence, but, I could kick it in Cuba too. Or, like, man, in Venezuela, I see them. They're all right at defending themselves from Western imperialism. So I could, cash in on my fucking Chavez pesos and chill there. Thinking. I'm not quite at the stage where I want to like fuck off completely to the islands. Instead, I'm just like, nah, why don't I stay in America and scream at the fucking empire? But you know what? I got a lot of time left. I might lose my shit by then, so you never know.
So, and to piggyback off of that too, man, and because there's a follow up about Derek Bros building a community in Mexico. If you look at Agenda 2030, it says that rural areas outside of major metropolitan areas are basically going to be abandoned, and the people that are in them will be left out of the emergent society in major metropolitan areas. It's going to be, smart cities and fucking Neuralink and transhumanism and all that kind of, wonderful fucking horrific shit. So what Derek's doing is absolutely what we've been talking about doing, although because my passport has been put on fucking hold indefinitely, I would be looking to do it here in the continental US. I think that if you can find pockets of rural space, or even space that is just far enough away from giant fucking cities that aren't bragging about how they're going to become smart cities over the next decade, 9 years, whatever, that you should seriously consider trying to get yourself there and building a community yourself. I honestly, man, I think that I am always going to push back against the coming dystopia as much as I possibly can for as long as I possibly can, but there's going to come a point where we have to accelerate its self-destruction, and I would like to have a community already in place. Do you know what I mean? Like it. So yeah, please, like it. Do that. It would be my advice. Also, yes, do what Derek is trying to do and what we're talking about trying to do, and there are a number of other people that have already done that and gotten on the way. So yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to feel like any of us are abandoning them or turning our back on humanity or anything. That's exactly what turning your city into a smart city is doing, is turning your back on humanity. We're trying to create pockets of sustainable humanity for as long as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, my passport's on hold because for last year when we were very visibly planning our first Action for Assange DC and London trips, I went to go renew my passport, and they said, oh, it's been flagged because you have an existing felony, and we can't let you travel outside the country. And I said, no, I don't. That was in fact expunged in 2016. Way back in the year 2000, I was standing underneath an awning in front of a building in a fucking downpour in Athens, Georgia, while a Widespread Panic concert was going on about a block and a half away. And I was with a couple other people, and we had backpacks, and we looked like we were not from the area. So 3 cops on bicycles, of all things, blocked us in, drew guns, and put us all up against the wall and started rummaging through all of our shit. And I was charged with having 6 hits of ecstasy in my pocket that I didn't have until the cops showed up. And I did 30 days in Clark County, 90 days in Clark County Jail, just waiting to go to court. 90 days in jail. So when we got into jail, the cops said, or the judge said, okay, you're banned from the state of Georgia for 15 years, time served, get the fuck out of my state. So we did, but it kept popping up for me that I had some sort of like felony warrant attached to it, which when I finally had the resources and been settled for long enough, went and fought and got it expunged. Everything dropped, or at least the active warrant dropped. And then the felony was supposed to go away entirely too after a certain period of time, which I got paperwork on that it was 2016. But the State Department has a different view. So I was supposed to have a court date in April of last year, and then the Rona happened, and now when I call them, they get transferred and hung up on, and transferred and hung up on. And I can't physically go into the State Department, the nearest State Department building in San Francisco, because they are closed because of the coronavirus. So that's where that's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a felony, or if you have a felony warrant, you can't get a passport. That's just how that law is. Or that's how the rules are written. Anyone else? What am I looking for?
Yeah. I mean, if Assange is still in prison by the time I graduate, I might just fucking go to London and just, I don't fucking know, just fuck with them.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, I know the weather's bad, dude. I know it's shitty and cold out there, and the team Assange that's on the ground in London, 3 times a week, is fucking giving it their absolute all. But I really don't understand why there aren't tens of thousands of people just fucking camped out in front of Belmarsh right now.
Yes, exactly.
Like, from all the fuck over the world.
Just straight
and
up.
I would do that right now. I would fucking I would find a way to just like exit out of fucking the time and space in order to do that.
Tent, bullhorn, sage, some laser.
Right. Bring an actual shaman.
Yeah, get a couple of fucking laser pointers to fuck with them. Just I would like camp outside fucking James Lewis QC's office and just play Arsenal fan TV clips. And I'm not even an Arsenal fan, but if you watch Arsenal fan TV and listen to the fights that go on, you know why I would want to play that in front of James Lewis QC's office. I would just fuck with them. But yeah. And watch a Man United game too. I would do that.
There's not.
Listen, Red Sea, I ain't got nothing against Arsenal fans. I send my full heartfelt strength to you guys, because my God, like Arsenal, man, they're fighting relegation right now. It must be tough. I mean, not that I know what that's like as a Man United fan, because like we're tied with Liverpool for first right now, so can't say I know what that's like, but you know, my heart goes out to those trying to prevent relegation. So
Yeah, no, how's the gamer California is not really getting any fucking rain or snow, which honestly for my community right now, that's all right. We'll take a light winter because we had half of it burned to the ground and everything is just ripe for fucking mudslides now. And the last time there was a savage mudslide around here was almost 30 years ago and ended up killing a number of people, and it took away a lot of homes, and it was brutal, absolutely brutal. So I'll be okay with a little bit lighter of a winter this year if that means that we get time to like sort of secure all of the burned out areas and give them a chance to defend themselves next winter. Like, that's selfish as fuck though. So, you know, I acknowledge that and do hope that other parts of the state get what they need.
Oh, you live near the Kathy, your fiance is fucking dope. Yep. Raging United fans. Woo! Oh, yeah.
Where are you even seeing that?
What?
Where are you even seeing that?
It's in chat.
It's in the chat, the YouTube chat. Kathy Lang.
Oh, okay, I see that. Okay, now I see it. Now I see it.
Manchester and is a Raging United fan.
Yeah. No, and rain is good. You're absolutely right. I'm not trying to say that rain is bad.
United.
I am in no way trying to say that rain is bad. I'm not. And the vast majority of winters that I've been here, I wish that we at least reached our annual expected rainfall, if not exceeded it. But again, I fully acknowledge I'm being selfish, and I hope that it's a light winter in this specific community because I would really like to get through fire season and mudslide season without too much more like damage done and too many more of my friends becoming homeless, which again, selfish.
Yeah.
Fully get it.
Kind of on that note, Red Sea, what did Gavin McFuckass say about businesses in California? This
motherfucker. I'll go find it. I'll try and find it unless you got it.
I mean, I'm looking for it now, but like, I don't know when I'll be able to find it. So, but this fucking okay. Hold up, I found it. Let me.
Is it video or is there? Can I pull a?
No,
quote?
it's just a quote. Okay, NBC Los Angeles. Governor Gavin McFuckass forcefully pushed back on criticisms that California is becoming unfriendly for business, pointing to all the new billionaires created by initial public offerings and noting that its richest people are doing pretty damn well. Gavin McFuckass Newsom, I have something for you. Have something for you. You motherfucking piece of shit.
I'll happily add to that. And here I've got a little bit more of a quote we can expand on just so people get the full text of that. He says, we've got a lot of work to do to help small, medium-sized businesses, but the folks at the top are doing pretty damn well. But I don't begrudge that success. I admire and respect it. At the same time, we have to be mindful of a competitive landscape, and I am acknowledging that, and I'm committed as governor to be more aggressive in the future to make a case anew for this great state. There is nothing in that other than fucking boardroom buzzwords. That is the emptiest fucking like condescending bullshit to small and medium-sized business owners that fucking just garbage human has come out with. He specifically praised Airbnb, which led an initial public offering last month. DoorDash and Salesforce, of course he praises Salesforce. Let's see what else we got here. It drew a quick retort from State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez. DoorDash joined Lyft and Uber in spending more than $100 million to defeat a November ballot measure that would have required them to treat their drivers as employees entitled to certain wages and benefits. Yeah, you know, like people. Yeah, that's about the extent of it. But holy fuck, dude. This state is still remarkable. It's home to more dreamers and doers than any other part of the globe. Fucking, that's Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
What, dreaming of fucking housing? Is that what we're dreaming of?
Yeah. Dreaming of being able to eat this week.
Dreaming of being able to fucking rent.
Right.
What a fucking dickhead.
Well, hey, at least we don't have to worry about fucking. I don't know. At least I don't anymore. I guess I have to worry about actually sending my child to college because that shit's all gonna be fucking virtual anyway. What's that gonna do for fucking? What's that gonna do in terms of like what's going to become of universities and campuses and shit in the next like 5 or so years? What's that gonna look like? Like, are they just gonna keep it around so they can fucking exploit people for athletic revenue?
I mean, sports are still going on. It's like, it's so fucking. It's so annoying.
Dev Cho, how do we get people to stop watching?
Y'all motherfuckers are lucky I like basketball because the hoops that they make us jump through are fucking ridiculous. It's like our fucking game versus San Diego got postponed the other night because they're now San Diego is now on pause, which is, you know, the nice language for quarantining. And fucking my sister goes to San Jose State. She's on like her 3rd quarantine now because every time someone on the team tests positive, then everybody's got a fucking quarantine and you got to do like the fucking contact tracing bullshit. It's so, ugh.
Oh yeah. No, you're absolutely Dev Cho, where'd that go? How do we get people to stop watching infotainment news? At this point, I think it's going to take tasers.
At this point, I think it's going to take a mass campaign to divert people away from normal TV and get them to watch anime.
If you're by a body of salt water, I recommend fishing for and stocking up on as many mackerel as you can catch, and then slapping people with live mackerel.
Why mackerel? Is that your favorite?
Because there's a euphonic quality to mackerel slap that I particularly enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a couple of words put together, it's got a tonal quality that I like in terms of wordplay. I think mackerel slap rolls pretty nice.
I mean, I'm from Florida, so it was always kind of like a swordfish shank with us.
Sure. Yeah. I get it. And even though marlin are bigger, right?
Yeah, but like but it both starts with
Right,
an
no,
X.
it's more evocative if you say swordfish than marlin, even though it would hurt more with a marlin.
Well, I mean, you're on the West Coast, and it would hurt more with a salmon than a mackerel.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't want to pick up a 35-pound object just to hit someone with it. I would rather hit someone with a 7-pound object.
So
In
the
that
same
case,
logic,
like
so the same
bass
logic can't
smack
apply
all
to so
around.
the same logic can't apply to swordfish and Florida marlins then?
Right? No, I get it. I get it. I do. I'm not arguing, and yeah, as long as we're talking about the euphonic quality of phrasing, like mackerel slap, bass smacks, I think work too. You get yourself like a 6-pound bass and just quick bass smacks. That's really not misogynistic because it's a fucking joke. A fish smacking somebody with a fish. Come on. I think it'd be funny as shit though. No, man, I really like
fucking 5-minute conversation
I
about
think we like
people with fish.
I don't know. I mean, think about how you deprogrammed from infotainment news and like what had to happen to you in order to get that transition to occur. And I guess just sort of apply that to the best of your ability when you're talking to your friends and family. You know, I don't like mine all assume that I'm crazy, so they largely ignore me. And then the ones that have figured out that like, okay, so yeah, maybe I might be a little bit crazy, but I'm not necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
Like
it's like
they need to be your ambassadors.
With my family, it's like they know they disagree with me vehemently, but at the same time, they know that more often than not, I'm relatively right. So it's like they stopped arguing with me.
I mean, yeah, I'm fully red. Jesus, that one worked. By the way, the Sunday evening shows are the ones where I will get high and fucking I don't know, entertain ridiculous concepts.
No, really, Steve, I had no idea.
Yeah, well, I'm explaining to the people at home, Glory. You already know that. You do, but I'm talking to internet land right now. The tubes.
Really? So internet land has no idea that you like to get high?
No, just I don't get high during the show. Normally, I don't get high during the Sunday shows unless they go on for like 2.5, 3 hours. And it's like, fuck it. Okay, I can see that. But you're not even old enough to get to a bar. You don't get a fucking mamma.
Hey,
or at least it's not gonna work.
2021, get your jokes in now, because when I'm turned 21, you're gonna have shit on me. I'ma still be here, but I'm gonna be 21 and you won't have shit on me.
You keep telling yourself that. You do. You just keep telling yourself that. No, dude, you're incredibly fucking you have more shit figured out at 20 than most 40-year-olds have figured out, and that's one of the primary reasons why we asked you to be a part of whatever the fuck this is over here.
Thanks, Steve. I think you have a lot
saturation in effect. Do I really? Dude, I get fucking you have no idea. Like I realize that I have this voice. I do. I realize that this is my voice. And I realize that this is my haircut and I get that. I do. But I actually don't smoke a lot, and certainly not during the week. Unless like I've just got a really heavy fucking demolition day or something like that at work, because most of the time at my day job, I'm required to like really pay attention. and the difference between a shitty carpenter and a good carpenter is fucking much. you know, and so you need to be precise. I wander off of precise if I'm fucking hired in a Christmas moon. I do. Um, so I don't smoke a lot, and really until like I'm done with all of my shit for the day, and then I'm usually only awake for about another 20 minutes because I'm fucking exhausted. In DC, I have when I'm in DC, I smoke fucking 18 times what I would in a normal week in a day. Like there's so much concentrated evil in the place, and you're just so, I don't know, spiritually out of balance is, I guess, the least weird way that I could put that. The, like, something's gotta, you gotta compensate somehow. You do. And I'm not even bullshitting here. Like, this is something that we all actually talked about at the fucking Airbnb house on Monday night. Like, this is just out of, all of it is just so out of the ordinary. All of it is so fucking otherworldly, especially when you're there for the specific purpose of raising hell and throwing it in the face of the national security state, and when you're there in a journalistic capacity to cover the trial of Julian Assange and the fucking rendition hearing of it, and then to go from like a force the vote event where there were 70 cops walled around 40 protesters who were trying to get elected officials to do the thing that they ran on doing, to the Storm the Capitol event where there was a stand down order given to the police. And any skirmishes that took place in there were already fucking pre-planned, because again, giant fucking psyop. It was fucking surreal, man. It was. And as a coping mechanism, cannabis. Cannabis. You may not feel better, but you'll feel better about it. I don't know, dude. Fucking, and just in case any fucking like weed pen manufacturers want to sponsor the show, you don't actually have to give us any money, but we'll take a few carts every now and then.
Hit us up. Or edibles too. We'll take those.
Yeah. Stop smoking since they made it legal. I mean, yo, dude, yeah. There is far more potent cannabis now than there was even fucking 10 years ago, which is hilarious, because the same people that are smoking the most like highly modified super potent cannabis on the planet are also like, all genetic engineering is bad. Okay, dude, but you get that you're hyper hybridized, fucking extracted, terped for your pleasure product. It also anywho, psychedelic starter pack. You know what, dude, we're about ready to start merchandising, Fredward. We are. I think it would be great to fucking to have fucking, we live in a fucking cartoon, mushroom starter kits for places that have decriminalized fucking psilocybin. I can't promise that I will send them to a state where it's illegal, but I bet I know someone who would. Like, I'm not gonna do that, but I guarantee you I know someone with far less scruples than me. Guarantee you. Jen, I am always going to think that if you have, so here's the thing, dude, genetically modified, it's not as scary as needs, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's really not. Like, any hybrid fucking plant or vegetable is genetically modified. You just be consistent about it. If you're like, you know, Frankensteining a product, yeah, I'm absolutely opposed to that. And I would prefer my cannabis to come from an outdoor grow, just because I like the way that fucking you know, naturally enhanced, grown in dirt, outdoor cannabis tastes. That's a preference of mine. I know people that would fucking swear by, you know, the hydro indoor that they've had. It's all a matter of preference. I think it's going to become harder and harder and harder to produce genuinely organic cannabis in the next 10 years. So enjoy it while you can. You know, it's pretty fucking fatalistic, but I don't know what our timeline is. I really don't. And while we're on that, if anyone is in proximity to the Large Hadron Collider, throw another weasel in that motherfucker and see if we can't get hurtled into a less dumb timeline.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like a rock, just because I don't want to hurt a weasel, but I mean, you get the point.
No, dude, sometimes sacrifices need to be made. No, dude, it was a weasel last time. It stands to reason that if you recreate the conditions, you know, I'm not suggesting anyone go and like raise a marmot for slaughter and give it a name and get attached to it or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you have less compunctions about throwing a weasel into a Large Hadron Collider than Glory does, go do that fucking thing. Who knows? We might go somewhere less dumb. It might be worse. It might just, again, it's why it's a gamble. It's a risk, you know, but I feel like we could definitely be in a less dumb timeline. That hurt your feelings with the sacrifice of marmot for freedom, Glory? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I'm just saying, if it was just like a large rock instead, then you could try it like multiple times. So if we end up in a dumb timeline,
okay, but what if it has to be a living thing? What if what makes you hurtle into the timeline is non-shale based?
If it has to be a living thing, then I can name tons of invasive species that our environment would be better off without. Crown of thorns starfish, the lionfish in the Caribbean, the fucking box jellyfish. Granted, it's not invasive.
It's got to be a mammal? What if like actual blood has to be involved? Because in fact, the Large Hadron Collider is a representation of all ancient gods, and it therefore demands a blood sacrifice.
If it has to be a mammal and demands blood sacrifice, then I'm putting up Henry fucking Kissinger.
Okay, I said mammal, though, not whatever the fuck Kissinger has become, that like tortoise-like demon creature.
You can't
gnarled sentient liver spots and
you
shit.
Can't kill a fucking lich, dude.
The last one, huh?
I said you can't kill a lich.
There's some fucking I mean, but seriously, like, okay, without getting in the kind of trouble that we would get in for advocating the sacrifice of a human being, which could only involve the kidnap and transport against the will of that human being. Like, let's bring it back to like woodland creatures.
Oh, fucking
because there's no way that the body mass of Henry Kissinger is equal to that of a fucking weasel. So maybe that would alter the timeline. And maybe if you put an evil person into the timeline, it sends you to a worse timeline. You know, maybe we're in the dumbest of all possible timelines because a garden variety weasel ain't that bright.
So you're saying it has to? I
am suggesting that if we put a smarter animal into the Large Hadron Collider, forcing a hard reset, we could possibly get ourselves into a smarter timeline.
You can do that. You can do that, okay?
Right? Throw the best person in the volcano. Jen Flute's on board. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, but then we have to come to the conclusion of who is the best person.
Okay, so there's a buddy named Conrad Wirt whose stage name is Possessed by Paul James. And Conrad is he's a teacher. He's a teacher of special needs kids. He's a parent. He's a devoted husband, father, and he is ridiculously handsome. And he may just very well be like the best of all possible people. And so, Conrad, if you're listening, I nominate you for the Collider. I do, and we'll shoot a documentary, and you can posthumously debut it at Sundance when we have one again. South by Southwest. I know it's your neighborhood. We can talk about this. This is for the greater good, homie. Get at me. Let's change the world together, my friend. Yes, Ed, I would absolutely offer him mushrooms first. Alex, you got to come on and talk about why the fuck the cops showed up at your house sometime here soon. How much LSD in the water supply would it take, or how much is currently in the water supply?
Not enough.
Right? Yeah, I mean, not enough for how much LSD is currently in the Washington D.C. water supply. I know that. I was just there. Not that I actually drank the water. I think I put some city water in for the coffee. But at that point, it was probably helping. Yeah, I don't know, man, because I would suggest micro dosing. No, I would suggest heroic doses for all politicians, because that way you weed out the fucking the weakest. But then you got to deal with the ones that truly believe they're God, and then you give them a fuck ton of LSD and they want to go even deeper into that narcissism. Sometimes it has the opposite effect.
Yeah. But I mean, it would give me an even better
Giardia from the Washington D.C. water. That fucking sucks, dude.
Shit.
That sucks. I mean, how long ago was that though? Bring LSD next time. I'm gonna tell you something, Jen Flute.
Oh no.
When I went to DC last February, I went with a couple of dosed up sweet tarts, but I was just head snacks.
Do you want to show them the picture, or the picture from when y'all flipped that Alex Jones event?
I'll go find it.
I might be able to find it.
No, I got it because I sent myself a picture of the thumbnail for Rockfin, or the background, because it was on my phone. And this is let's see, new tab. Let's do that. Back over here. So I decided, when I found out that we were going to go crash Alex Jones's emergency free speech summit for Roger Stone, I decided that is when I would go ahead and sample the head snacks and the mental floss, as my friend Steve Jenick would call it. And everything that went down at the Alex Jones event left me with that look on my face. The entire time. The entire event. Basically from start to finish. That was my expression. Right there. What the fuck is happening at this time? It was wild. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Good times. Good times. Yes, Ed, I was baffled. The whole thing was fucking baffling. It was. Especially when fucking what's his nuts? Little fucking Nikki Fuentes tried to make the argument that that selling out your sources to the national security state would actually put you in a beneficial position.
Oh yeah. Why doesn't Julian just exchange his source of the DNC leaks in exchange for a pardon? What a interesting figure you are, Nick Fuentes.
All right, y'all. I think I'm about done. I just found out we have a fucking Tuesday production meeting too in about 45 minutes. So I'm probably trying scrounge something up for food. Okay, gotcha, Jen. I will do that. And you guys, you fucking rock. Thank you for hanging out. I'll check the Discord one or Discord Rockfin for any last minute questions. I will check out Richard Grove's channel, Devo. Let's see. Reminders. Free Assange Vigil on Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be joined by MMA legend John Fitch. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of that. Weather dependent, but like as soon as I get a rain day, that's when we're gonna have Whitney on. Because it's hard for her to make Sunday shows. I'm gonna try and work it out though. For the 24th, maybe, I don't know, dude. I got a lot of stuff booked and I got a lot of stuff. Check my calendar. Next Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Please do be with us, as we will be joined by Richard Gage, founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. He's going to be discussing the documentary film 7 that came out about a month ago. Please go check that flick out. It flies by. Watch it a few times. Take some notes. We're really looking forward to this conversation because Building 7, honestly, is like probably the easiest way to talk to people who believe the official narrative about 9/11, because you don't even have to be like, but terrorists or any of that shit. It's like, look, why did this thing free fall in a matter of seconds? From what? Fires on the 8th floor? Here's the NIST report. Here's Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth's report. What is more likely? You know, and it's pretty straightforward. Really looking forward to that, dude. That's I'm fucking pumped, man. Jared Beck will be on soon for the Tavistock show. Tavistock being the company that according to Jared Beck is behind and a fundamental part of the entire psyop of the counterculture movement, starting with the Beatles. This is gonna be so much fun. People are gonna get so mad at that. Like, that show's gonna piss off so many people. And I'll be honest, dude, like I was pissed when I found out like what Laurel Canyon was all about and what the Haight-Ashbury thing was all about. Doesn't necessarily make the music suck, so remember that.
Hey, Steve, what's our website?
Our website is slownewsdayshow.com. And I will go ahead and throw another Discord invite into the chat real quick before we split. And Glory Jones, what do you got?
I don't fucking know, honestly. Fuck Jordan Charlatan. Fuck 12. Fuck the CIA. Fuck the FBI. Hey, bruh, just don't shoot yourself in the dick by ramming into a partisan wall of bullfuckery that clouds all your judgment. Just listen to what people on the ground and what people are researching, and listen to multiple sources as well. Today was quite a day. Talked to Commander X. That was very emotional. Attack on Titan got trending again, as I called, because
Also emotional.
yes, very much emotional. Just to really see the fucking clash between Aaron and Reiner again, to see them meet after so long and have that conversation. And then in the next episode, we're going to get to see the Warhammer Titan fight. So get on that now, guys, because take it from a manga reader, it's going to be fucking wild. So, yeah. I don't think I've ever had an outro that wasn't scuffed, but there we go. Hasta siempre.
Sleepy Josh, anything?
Check your Discord. Someone's gonna send you a message in there.
I saw that.
That's all I got. I'm tired.
Okay, right on. Well, thank you guys. Thanks to Jason Bermas for being Jason Bermas. No, I had a fantastic time hanging out with that guy again. I'm glad that he was there to get as much footage as he did. This is all, I mean, understanding what happened in DC and understanding what happened on September 11th are like on the same page now. In my opinion, and I'm saying that because I was on the ground for DC. And I was pretty close to ground zero for 9/11. I still watched it on TV though. But I was just across the Tappan Zee Bridge. I had a couple of friends that went missing for about a day and a half because we couldn't talk to anybody that were in the city. You couldn't fucking see the sun for a couple of days. It was nuts, dude. It was nuts. So it's important to have these conversations with people who are on the ground at this thing. Hopefully we can get Tedros Speaker Miriam on here soon. I know he had like a couple other things going on tonight, and he was questionable about whether or not he was going to make it. Again, slownewsdayshow.com. I did it like 2 times in a show.
Nice.
Rad. And we'll see you soon. Good luck to us all.
Love you all.